Yo, Facebook, what's up? We're back at it. It's the new year. It's 2018. We're going to talk about how to get you some more clients because who doesn't need more clients, right? I mean, I think about for me when I was in the, just started getting into the internet business, I would take anybody. I would really take anybody who would come to me, and I would find any way to get someone to be able to pay me. And now what I found is much more important is about being selective. And so, recently, I've had people who have asked me to pay them, and I've told them no, that I actually don't, that I don't do that stuff. So I want to be able to help you get to a place where you can start, kind of turning away business or really be, only taking on the business that you guys want. So Thomas, what's going on? Good to see you, my man. Thanks for hopping on. Anna, happy new year. Good to see you as well. I want to welcome all of you guys, and we're going to be talking about some good stuff. I really want to get to the point where you don't have to worry about constantly testing things, or you don't have to constantly worry about, doing new, like spending a lot of money on things that don't work, right? What we're going to talk about is how there's a lot of opportunity for people to go out there and get clients without spending ads, how to get, clients without, paying for anything. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot more opportunity out there than they realize. So if you guys are here, let me know. Give me some likes. Give me some loves. Those are always helpful and important. And I'm curious to know what you guys are selling. What are you guys selling? Whether it's a product or a service. We're going to get into the different ways in which you can get clients and the different ways in which you can get customers. And so it's really helpful to know what type of clients that you guys are, what type of people that you're targeting and what you're actually selling. So let me know down in the comments what you guys are selling, and we'll talk about that as well. So let's get into it. I have some notes here because I always wrote down some notes, and I think that the goal is to be able to create a business where clients come to us, right? If you would like clients coming to you, if you think that that is something that would be helpful for you, and you want like people reaching out to you as opposed to you constantly trying to hound people down, let me know if that's something that would be valuable to you. Likes or loves if that's something that you want to work towards, because that's really what we're going to talk about today, is creating a business where people are coming to you, right? I think that creates the best type of relationship, frankly, because those people are appreciative of working with you. Those people are grateful. They understand. And I think that it's an overall better kind of relationship as well. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, let me know too. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving about this stuff, because I've got some stuff I want to talk about, and I really want to talk about the 3 ways that you can create, that you can get clients. And there's really 3 ways. And I've been blessed to build my I've been blessed to build my business both in the offline space and also in the online space. And what I got to tell you is that it only comes down to 3 ways, right? It really only comes down to 3 ways. So we're going to talk about what those 3 ways are. And I think about for right now, if you guys are in the business, right? If you guys are in the entrepreneurship world, if you're in the client-based world, there's such a new kind of energy right now, and there's a new kind of atmosphere when it comes to businesses, because people are ready to do new things, right? People are in a new mindset a lot of times, and they're ready to, take on that new venture, or they're ready to bring on a new type of person, or they're ready to hire someone, a little bit different. And so I want to encourage you to know that there are some great opportunities just by kind of being active and taking action over this first part of the year as well. So let's get into some stuff. I'd love to know. I'm going to skip down and see if we got any questions. I know Jennifer said that she does tech services and support for entrepreneurs who hate computers. And so I'd love to know what kind of services that you guys sell, because we're going to tailor, this talk and talk about some of the ways that you guys can actually do that and some of the cool opportunities that are out there for people to get clients without having to pay for ads. So lots of cool things. Cindy, what's going on? Thanks for hanging out. And the rest of you guys who are on, I can only see who likes and loves it, so I'm a little behind on it. But if you guys give me some love, I would really appreciate that as well. So let's let's dive into these 3 things, right? And I think that there's really only a few ways that you can do that. But it really comes down to if we're selling a product and if we're selling a service. So I'm curious, are you guys selling a product or are you guys selling a service? Because a lot of times they're done similarly, but a lot of times they're done a little bit differently. So I'm curious to know, are you guys selling a product? Are you guys selling a service? Let me know, because we're going to get into how to do both of those as well. But really comes down to three ways, right? So when we think about it, we can launch something. And when we think about launching something, a lot of times this has to do with the copy that we use. This has to use with the words that we use. So we can launch something and we can use what we call sales copy, right? And you guys have heard me talk about this stuff before. If you guys haven't, then this will be kind of great and kind of new. But there's really only three ways. You have sales copy. You also have live events. And you also have one-on-one calls, right? And it really comes down to those three things. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to kind of get into kind of that stuff. So Jennifer says service, Dane says service, Thomas says service, so product, Devin and product, Cindy says product. Okay, or Cindy says both. All right, so let's talk about that kind of stuff, and let's see how this is kind of relevant here. So if I know anything about like what Dane does, Dane offers similar services, and he offers a lot of marketing services as well. So when I think about that, a lot of people who sell services, a lot of people who sell consulting services, they offer it through one-on-one calls. So let's talk about this right here, right? So this strategy call is really, really huge. And I'll share with you kind of a couple of ways that have worked for us that we've actually gotten people to get onto our one-on-one calls. So some things that we've done are we actually have built a Facebook group, right? We built a Facebook group. We created a bunch of content. We created a ton of value, and we got people to actually apply for a free consultation, right? And we dressed up the consultation and we gave it a really cool name, and we actually called it a free Facebook advertising plan. But what ended up happening was we actually had, I believe, over 50 or 60 people apply for that free, service. And out of those 50 or 60, we vetted some of them, and some of them were great, and some of them were not in the right position for our services. And so for those people, we sent them a different route, and we, gave them a different resource and said, hey, this is probably better for you at the moment. And then what ended up happening is that with the ones who were qualified, well, we actually got on a call with them. We actually took them through our process. We walked them through our strategy call. And those people, their sales pitch was actually framed as a free Facebook advertising strategy. And we did a lot of things to frame it really well. We made sure that they came in with the right mindset. We made sure that they came in with the right kind of expectations of when they were going to be making a decision. But what we did to get one-on-one calls was we created tons of content, and then we offered a free, and it wasn't just like, oh, we're going to hop on like a free call, right? Nobody likes just like a free call. We actually offered them a free customized Facebook advertising plan. And the reason that we called it, or that we were able to call it that, is because on the call, we actually went through and walked them through, a customized plan of what it would actually look like if we, went in and did, our services for their business. And so a really easy thing that you can do in order to get more one-on-one calls is simply dress up the name and increase the offer in which you are going to provide that call. Because no one likes a free strategy session or let's hop on a discovery call. Like no one likes that stuff, right? If you guys have heard of like people running discovery calls, or if you guys, run discovery calls yourself, let me know. Or I'm curious, like what are you guys calling your strategy call, right? If you guys are calling it anything. And Thomas says it's buffering. I'm wondering, are we back yet? Can you guys hear me? Is audio okay? I apologize if it's lagging. Let me know in the comments. Give me some info on that stuff. But dressing up what you call your one-on-one calls is so important. So what would we call this? Let's just call this an offer, right? Let's call this an offer, because one of my mentors, Joe Polish, what he said to not just be available, but to make an offer, right? He said not just to be available, but to make an offer. And I find that so many business owners, so many entrepreneurs, they're just available, right? They're just available. They're there for office hours. And if you think about it, teachers who had office hours, they never, people were never there for office hours. Why? Because they just said, hey, I'm available. Hey, you can just come get help. I'm here to help you. But when all of a sudden the teacher said, hey, I'm giving away the first answer to the test, or I'm giving away, so-and-so, question on the final or whatever it is, all of a sudden it was always packed. So for you, in that same regard, you have to find a way that you can actually dress up your one-on-one call and create a compelling offer for your customers and for your clients. So Melanie says we're good, Jennifer says we're good, and we're back. Okay, so I'm curious, what can you guys call your one-on-one calls? Or if you guys call them something kind of, enticing or compelling, what works for you, right? Let's share down in the comments, community and collaboration over competition, because chances are these people aren't going to be competing in your niche. So Jennifer says potential clients don't always realize they need IT or how much it would help them focus on their business. Okay, so great point, Jennifer. So what we want to get into at this point is we want to help understand, we need to understand what they are caring about, right? So if your potential clients don't realize that they need, help, like where is their head at? People might not realize that it's IT, but maybe it's profitability. Maybe it's human resources, right? Maybe it's the fact that they are hiring too many people. Maybe it's their overhead. So I would really get into what are the problems that your particular clients are dealing with, and how can you speak to that problem and make your service, your consulting, whatever it is that you offer, make that the solution. So I'm curious what you think, would be, call it for you, Jennifer. Like, could it be like a profitability analysis, right? I know one of my, one of the people that actually contributed at our Influencer Summit recently, and Jerry Cooper, she gets clients by sending her potential clients a really detailed analysis of how they can improve, right? She actually sends them a detailed analysis of everything that's basically wrong with their website. And so for you want to be able to similarly think about what are the kind of the problems that you can either point out, or what are the problems that you can actually highlight that they're going through that your offer is going to solve. So hopefully that makes a little sense as well. And yet Jennifer says that it's kind of a heaven and hell, and I would agree completely in that. So for you guys, anybody else who else is watching, what are you guys calling your strategy calls, right? Alexander, if you're still there, Henzo, Thomas, Dane, Cindy, like, what are you guys calling your strategy calls? I'm curious, Paul, Michael, Anna, Sterling, you guys have kind of showed some love a little bit. Are you guys calling them anything particular? Are you guys calling them anything different? Or is this something that you could actually implement as well? Let me know. I'm curious about what would be, helpful for you. So let's see, what else is helpful for one-on-one calls? I'll tell you here, what's great for one-on-one calls is LinkedIn these days. LinkedIn is something that is killing the game right now, and there's so much opportunity. And the great thing about LinkedIn is that right now people are well, it's not as crowded as Facebook, and people are actually there looking to improve their business, right? We get kind of caught up in the fact that Facebook is great for entrepreneurs, and Facebook has a lot of entrepreneurs' attention, and a lot of digital marketers go to Facebook because there's a lot of community there. But frankly, a lot of business owners, they're not really on Facebook looking to communicate with for their business. However, when they're on LinkedIn, they're in a different mindset. They're actually looking for that stuff. So although it may not be as crowded as Facebook right now, LinkedIn is actually doing lots of good things, and I believe it was just bought by Microsoft, and so they're going to continue to improve their user interface. They're going to continue to improve their their search capabilities. They're going to continue to improve their ad platform. So right now, if you guys are offering one-on-one calls and you guys are looking for consultancy clients, LinkedIn is a huge goldmine because of the search capabilities that are available right now, and because of the the connectedness and how quickly you can connect to the decision makers on LinkedIn. So I'm curious, is anybody using LinkedIn right now, or have you guys thought about using LinkedIn in 2018? Let me know. I'm curious if that's something that you guys are curious about. So Cindy, I appreciate you letting me know that this information is great. Guys, obviously, if you guys think that this stuff is helpful, the likes and the loves, they always are great for vanity stuff. But what it does is it tells Facebook that this stuff is engaging, that this stuff is actually helpful. And I'll tell you, I'm going to give you a little insight. By the end of the year, we're going to be I'm going to be doing a lot less stuff on Facebook Live because Facebook is going to start taking stuff away from, they're going to be taking the reach away. And so I want you to be able to know that, just know that obviously the loves and the likes, those always make it worthwhile for me to be able to keep using Facebook as a platform rather than going to another platform or rather, than spending my time doing something else. So you guys can actually keep, these types of content coming by liking and loving and sharing all that stuff out because then it'll keep me in the good nature of the algorithm. Melanie says she loves LinkedIn. Thomas says LinkedIn, he's using it. Cindy says she will now. Absolutely. And Dane says that he hasn't gotten too much luck. So here's what's interesting about LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is a great starting place. And similarly, what it does is it allows you to really hone in on a niche. And I know that, Dane, you have you've actually mentioned to me that you have some expertise in a particular niche. So I would go really, really deep into that and utilize LinkedIn's search capabilities. And what you can do is you can actually go to what are like second connections, and you can find all the people who are like one step away from you, and you can go like on a targeting spree. Now, the great thing about this is that if you do that, well, and then they can actually connect with you. Well, yes, you can send them a message, but then you can actually get their email and utilize that to send them a cold email. You can utilize that to upload into a custom audience. There's lots of cool things that you can do once you've actually connected with them on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is huge as well. So let's see. Jennifer says she's moving away from it. So it's going to be the great thing about LinkedIn is that by going there now, it's turning into a community, right? Before, they weren't really utilizing the algorithm, or they weren't really utilizing, the posts weren't being ranked based on engagement and things like that. But now LinkedIn has realized that that's what you need, if you want to keep people's attention. So they're taking a lot of things out of Facebook's, book. And what's cool is that as people are getting kind of, fed up with Facebook being salesy, which is it is getting really, really salesy. They are going to move to LinkedIn. That's actually going to be a place where people can go and arbitrage that that attention right now, because it's going to grow as people get fed up more and more with Facebook being really, really salesy, and people getting turned off by stuff on Facebook. So it's just a huge it's just a huge opportunity. So let's keep moving, right? Because that's one way to do it, right? That's one way. So just dressing up your what you call your calls is a huge thing that you can actually improve. So let's get that out of there, because I think that's helpful. And boom. So we talked about that, and we talked about one-on-one calls and the offer and how LinkedIn is a little bonus right here. Okay. Second thing, let's jump down to live events, because I know, who is it that shouted out to webinars? Carlos says, I believe it was Carlos. Carlos says webinars are money. I use Ecamm to broadcast my screen, so that's what I use. But live events are actually great. And what I want to share about live events is that you can do them online or you can do them offline. It's actually a really great thing that right now there are two different ways that you can be able to do that. And so let's just kind of, get into it a little bit. But live events actually do a really, really interesting thing. And what live events do is they create a new space for people to be willing to buy. And so it's happened like for years, right? And I remember I went on this vacation when I was like 12 years old, and we ended up at this timeshare presentation for like a whole day. Now, mind you, like 10-year-old Hector, he wants to go to Disney World. He wants to go on all the rides. He wants to go to, and have all the fun stuff. But what he ends up doing is he ends up sitting in this sales presentation for hours and is listening to these people talk about, a vacation that his parents are never going to be able to afford. But what happened is that we were able to get something cool, and they hooked us, hooked my parents and got them some stuff. But those things really, really work. And for years, people have been selling stuff in person. I know a lot of real estate agents who do live events, and they will host home buying seminars in a particular area, and give some information, give lots of value, maybe some free food. But out of a certain amount of people, they're able to find the ones who are actually serious. They're able to find the ones who are willing to, and ready to take action. And so what I would encourage you to do is that if you are someone who is good at speaking, if you're someone who likes to teach and and you find that education is a big part of your sales process, well, live events can be huge, right? I think about even something like this video is a live event, right? So, let me know. I'm curious if you guys have ever thought about doing either an offline training, an online training, or some sort of live event, to be able to sell your product. I'm curious. Yes or no? Let me know, because, a lot of people haven't. And what I've just found is that there are a lot more ways to do it than people realize. And I think that it will benefit almost every single industry, regardless of whether or not you are, regardless of whatever industry that you're in, So live events are huge, and you can do them both online or offline. But what I found is helpful is that they create a new sales environment. They create a new frame of mind. People are in a different place because they are actually there at your event, right? They're actually there at your training. They're actually there at your seminar. They're there at your webinar, or they're there at your Facebook Live. Like, it's actually something that they are there in the moment. And I think that does something, because these days so many people are, have so many different things on their plate, and we're constantly as marketers fighting for people's attention. And if you can get someone to commit to attending something, whether that is even something like a Facebook Live, right? Like, I just want to thank you guys if you guys have decided to hang out with me, and if you guys have liked or loved the page. If you guys haven't loved the video, then I don't like you. I'm just kidding. But if you hang out and you are able to connect with people in real time, well, all of a sudden those people are willing to spend a lot more money with you. Those people, that relationship is built a lot more effectively. So live events are huge opportunities for people to be able to sell their product. So let's see. Cindy says that she's done live events, educational, and got a couple clients from it. Exactly, right? And it's like, what's great about it is Cindy is selling something that's like the oldest product in the world, right? If I can't say something, that's land, that's real estate. So these things, these live events, they don't just work for information products. They don't just work for ebooks. They don't just work for even consultancy services, right? What I've seen a lot of people do is run webinars, show their authority, show case studies, show that they have some knowledge or some value that they can offer these business owners, and then have people apply to be able to work with them. It's actually a really, really cool opportunity to be able to showcase your, what kind of value you can actually offer somebody in a live setting. So Cindy says that in 2018, one of her goals is to incorporate live events via Facebook Live and Zoom to connect people to sell our services. Yes, I think that is such an awesome goal. And Cindy, I would love to help you do that, because I think that you could revolutionize the real estate industry by deciding to do some of that stuff. So live events are huge. All right, let's talk about the third way, right? The third way is what we call sales copy, right? And what I love about the internet is that you can utilize things like websites. You can utilize and leverage things like YouTube or video, or you can leverage things like even audio to be able to do the selling for you. And that was one of the beautiful things that the internet created, was it created an opportunity for people to make money, to create an impact, to actually build their business without physically needing to be there, because the internet could actually do the delivery system for them. Back in the day, someone always had to actually sit there and actually deliver the sales pitch in person, because how could they deliver it? There was no recording, there was no video, there was no Facebook Lives. But now what you can do is you can leverage these technologies, you can leverage these systems to create a business where it literally can work on autopilot. Now, let me tell you, it can, but that shit is really difficult, right? It is really difficult. A lot of people get into internet marketing because they think that they're going to be able to create a website and all of a sudden they're going to be able to retire on the beach and sip mimosas as they get PayPal notifications. And don't get me wrong, I do know people who do that. Don't get me wrong, there are people who crush it and are people who have that lifestyle. But I want to share with you that it's a lot more difficult than most people actually expect, right? I don't know if it's if it's more difficult than people, if it's difficult, but it's just more difficult than what most people expect. And I see that happen, that people are kind of shocked by the level of work that is required to build a business, and they think that it is something that's going to come easy or come, natural. So in any regard, I just think that you just kind of can't downplay how hard this shit is. Coop says that she needs help with copy. I think it's not an easy thing, but let me tell you what we're trying to do, right? Let me tell you what we're trying to do. Let me see if I can get some more room in here. Because through sales copy, we're ultimately trying to create a couple of things. The first thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to create trust, or we're trying to create, I'll tell you the first thing that we're trying to do. We're trying to create likability or relatability, right? We're trying to create some sort of, they have to like us. They have to be able to relate to us. They have to understand that we get them, that we're like them in some sort of way. You don't buy these days from people who aren't like you. It doesn't work that way, because what people are buying, and you can quote this, is that people are not buying a product or a service. What they are buying is they are buying an identity. And so you need to be able to relate to that identity, or oftentimes you need to be able to emulate that identity. You need to be able to kind of already have that identity that they're searching for. That's ideal, right? But you gotta get them to like you. That's the number one thing. Second thing that you got to get them to do is you have to create some sort of authority, okay? Because there's plenty of people who I like, but I would never pay to help me with my business, right? There's plenty of people who I like, but I'm just not going to trust them with my business. And so what I would encourage you to do is to find ways and to manufacture and to engineer ways to be able to create that authority, right? By getting case studies, by showing proof, by anticipating a lot of their issues or anticipating a lot of their concerns, right? By showing credibility, right? By showing a history of past results, by showing knowledge, right? But also by understanding and being able to articulate it in a way that doesn't confuse them, right? So Carlos says, don't forget that the copy has created an epiphany, and I'm dropping value bombs. I appreciate that. So what we have to do is, right, after authority though, right, I guess is the next part, is there has to be some sort of pain point, right? There has to be some sort of pain. And almost like there has to be a reason. What it is, there has to be a reason for them to like you. Or excuse me, a reason for them to buy from you. And you have to either draw this out of them, and you have to ask them questions that get them to tell you their problems, or you have to be able to anticipate their problems and be able to show that either you went through those same things or that you helped someone similar to them go through those same things. And so pain is a huge motivator, right? Pain is a huge motivator. And to that next point, Carlos says that we have to have an epiphany. That next part is I'm going to put this in this next part, is that they have to have they have to see a value in what it is that your solution is. And the way that you oftentimes get them to see that is that they have to have an epiphany, right? They have to be able to relate to it. They have to have that aha moment that you had, right? And a lot of times that comes after they are able to relate to the pain. They're able to experience it almost. They're able to emote with it, right? And then you're able to showcase how you were able to solve the problem, and you're able to showcase how you were able to fix things. And a lot of times in that story and in that sharing and in that relatability, and whether it was about you or whether it was one of your clients or whether it was a case study that you're actually walking through, in showing them how they fixed it and showing them how those people were able to solve their problem, that's actually what's going to allow your audience to feel that same way as well, right? So cool. Cool. I'm going to see if I can throw this up there, and I'm going to create a overlay, and I'm going to see if I can make that a little bit smaller. I appreciate you throwing some love out there, Carlos. I want to throw you up on the screen and see if I can get, I don't know if, Ecamm is freaking awesome. It allows me to do so much cool shit. So boom, let's make that bigger right there, and we're gonna do it like that. Oh, boom. And Carlos, you're in the show, man. Welcome to the show. If you guys have enjoyed this and if you gotten any value out of this, drop a comment. Let me know what you learned. Drop some likes and some loves. Those always help out the algorithm too. And then let's wrap up and let's get out of here because I'm hungry. After the value and epiphany, there has to be some urgency, right? There has to be some urgency. I'll tell you actually what's before that, right? What's before that is there has to be some sort of comparison. And what I found early in my sales career was that people, they always said that they wanted to think about it, right? And I realized that if I did not answer all their questions and I did not kind of do the research for them, that they were going to, at least a segment of them, some people were going to want to do the research. They were going to want to ask the questions. And they're going to want to go and do the research on their own, or at least they have questions that they need answered. So what I needed to do is I needed to answer and I needed to anticipate all of those questions. And one of them was always, what else is out there? What else can I expect from other, like, okay, you know what, this sounds cool, but I'm going to price shop. I want to see what other prices are out there, or I'm going to see what other services are out there. And so if instead you tell them what kind of prices are out there, you tell them what other kind of companies are out there, it's going to assuage them, right? They're not going to feel the need to go out and do that themselves. So you have to provide that comparison, and then you have to create some urgency, right? You have to create some urgency, and you have to find a way to compel them to take action now. People are such procrastinators. And one of the biggest things, especially when you're selling something, is to not underestimate the amount of time that your product or service requires. And even though it may be a low price in monetary value, what you are asking someone may be a high commitment in terms of the time that they are giving. And so if it is also a high level of time commitment, you need to factor that in and help to kind of handle those objections of why it's worth their time. So Thomas says the comparison aspect is really important. And Ruth says, what program am I using to make the diagram? So Thomas, the comparison aspect is huge, and really creating a way to create urgency, right? And a lot of people create urgency through scarcity. I like to create what's called like positive scarcity, or like, just giving them cool shit, or just like increase, I think Frank Kern calls it like increasing the cool factor, or just giving them, the old but wait, there's more tactic. And so by creating urgency and creating positive urgency, you can actually get people to pull the trigger a lot sooner. So hopefully that helped you guys. I want to thank everybody who helped out and gave some love. Thomas, Ruth, Cindy, Carlos, Liz, George, Lucy, Reese, Ronald, Alex, Henzo, Dane, all you guys are awesome. Kevin, Jennifer, Sterling, you guys are all amazing. I appreciate you guys just hanging out with me today. I'm going to be doing a live training tomorrow. It's going to be going in depth on how to get specifically your next chatbot client, because I know a lot of people are wanting to get into messenger marketing and wanting to utilize that for their business. So if you haven't signed up for that, go get signed up. The link's in the description, up or down, somewhere around here. But I want to thank all of you guys for hanging out, and it's been so awesome. So if there's anybody there, feel free to drop any questions, and I'll hang out for a few seconds because I know this video is a little behind as well. But yeah, hopefully you guys are off to an amazing 2018. It's going to be an incredible year just because of all the opportunity is out there, right? Just like on a side note, I mean, I'm going to make a point not to make a post about it. But tripled my income with income, but tripled my investment in some crypto over the last 2 days, and so that's exciting. Quadrupled it over the last month or two, and so just so much opportunity out there. So to stop making excuses, stop finding reasons why you can't go out there and succeed, and go make shit happen. That's what I got. All right, George. I love you, man. It's great hanging out with you this weekend. I look forward to hanging out with you more, too. So if you guys have any other questions, make sure that you guys throw those down there. And the program is Ecamm. Ecamm plus Simple Mind. That's all I'm doing. Program plus Simple Mind. Thomas says, what do I currently own? No, I have a lot more Ethereum than Bitcoin, and then I've also got some Lumens, some IOTA, some what else do I have right now? I just sold all my requests as it was mooning, and I bought what else did I buy? I bought a couple of other things. So, anyways, doesn't matter. I'm gonna stop talking about that because I don't want to be that guy. All right, I love you guys. Have an amazing Tuesday. Come to the training tomorrow. Go sign up. Later. Peace.